Elara, a nuclear physicist whose brilliance was matched only by her reclusiveness, often found solace in the quiet hum of her makeshift laboratory. Her motivation was a locket, cool against her skin, holding a faded photograph of her parents. Their smiles, once vibrant, were now a poignant reminder of a tragedy that had etched itself onto her soul. Their slow, agonizing decline from radiation exposure, a wound inflicted by unseen forces. She worked tirelessly, driven by an unyielding desire to expose the truth behind government cover-ups and prevent future disasters, a mission she pursued independently, yet with the discreet backing of her old mentor, Dr. Aris. The Nevada desert, a vast expanse of secrets and silence, held a particular dread for Elara. One sweltering afternoon, an anonymous, cryptic message materialized in her encrypted inbox. It hinted at an active, hidden laboratory deep within the Nevada National Security Site, a place far removed from public knowledge. The message, unsettlingly precise, included a blurred satellite image and a single coded coordinate. Elara's initial skepticism was quickly overshadowed by a chilling realization. The sender knew about her personal history, about her family's fate. This wasn't a random tip, it was a targeted appeal. A wave of memories, sharp and painful, washed over her. She saw herself as a child living in a small town nestled near the test site. She remembered her parents, vibrant and full of life, slowly succumbing to a mysterious illness that doctors dismissed as an anomaly. Her father, a former site worker, had always whispered of experiments beyond the official records, his eyes haunted by unspoken fears. This forgotten trauma, now reawakened, fueled a fierce determination within her. The anonymous tip, once a curiosity, transformed into an undeniable call to action. She sought out Dr. Aris, her former professor, now a man weathered by time and disillusionment. He sat in his study, surrounded by stacks of scientific journals, his gaze weary but his mind still sharp. Aris listened patiently, his silence punctuated by the creak of his old leather chair. "Elara," he began, his voice raspy. "The desert holds more than just sand. There are shadow projects, unseen forces at play within that facility, forces that silence anyone who gets too close." He spoke of a past incident, a failed attempt to expose something similar, which had cost him colleagues and nearly his career. Despite his reluctance, he recognized the fire in Elara's eyes. With a sigh, he provided her with old access codes and fragmented schematics, emphasizing the immense risk. Armed with Aris's intel, Elara planned a reconnaissance mission to the edge of the restricted zone. The perimeter was far more fortified than any public record suggested, a network of advanced sensors and automated defenses she hadn't anticipated. Her specialized equipment detected unusual energy signatures, a faint rhythmic pulse emanating from deep within the desert's heart. As she navigated the treacherous terrain, a sudden whirring sound above sent shivers down her spine. An automated drone patrol, its red eye sweeping the landscape, narrowly missed her hiding spot. The close call forced her to retreat, leaving her with a profound sense of dread, yet also a strange, exhilarating excitement. This was real. Upon her return, a small, antique compass lay on her doorstep, a familiar weight in her hand. It was her father's, a gift from long ago. Attached was another anonymous note, this one stark and direct. "They're watching. Be careful, Elara." The words implied an ally, or perhaps an enemy, who knew her identity and intentions, dramatically raising the stakes. The note also mentioned Project Chimera, a name Aris had whispered about in hushed tones, a name that now resonated with her father's cryptic warnings of experiments beyond official records. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The compass, a tangible link to her father, spun slowly in Elara's palm, its silent admonition echoing the anonymous warning. She knew she was being watched, a chilling certainty that solidified her resolve. The coded coordinate from the initial message became her immediate focus. After hours of intense decryption, A secluded, unmapped sector within the vast Nevada National Security Site materialized on her holographic display. It was a blank spot on official records, a void that screamed of hidden agendas. Simultaneously, she unearthed fragmented entries in her father's old journal, long dismissed as the ramblings of a sick man. Now, through the lens of her own dawning understanding, they revealed a chilling narrative. He wrote of a new energy source, its potential both boundless and terrifying, and a moral dilemma that had gnawed at his conscience. Repeatedly, the name Dr. Thorne appeared, always associated with the ethically questionable research, a figure her father seemed to both admire and fear. The journal was a breadcrumb trail, leading to a truth far darker than she had imagined. The time for reconnaissance was over. Infiltration was the only path forward. Ilara meticulously planned her approach, relying on the antiquated schematics Dr. Eris had provided, maps that depicted forgotten tunnels and disused service conduits. As she navigated the desert's treacherous terrain under the cloak of night, a figure emerged from the shadows, lean and wary. It was Cale, the anonymous messenger, his face etched with a weariness that spoke of years spent carrying a terrible burden. He was a disillusioned former security operative for the facility, now a whistleblower haunted by guilt, seeking a desperate form of redemption. He had witnessed horrific experiments, and his conscience, finally broken, compelled him to act. Kyle confirmed her suspicions. Project Chimera was not merely about weapons. It involved manipulating radioactive isotopes for unforeseen applications, pushing the boundaries of science into a realm of terrifying moral ambiguity. Cale's voice was low, laced with a bitter resentment, as he explained the true nature of their adversary. Dr. Thorne, now a high-ranking official within the facility, was the architect of the very experiments that had led to Ilara's family's exposure. Thorne, a man of chilling pragmatism, had deliberately exposed nearby communities to low-level radiation, viewing them as nothing more than unwitting test subjects for his long-term studies. And when Ilara's father, horrified by what he witnessed, had threatened to expose him, Thorne had framed him for negligence, burying the truth beneath a mountain of fabricated evidence and silencing him forever. The revelation struck Ilara like a physical blow, transforming her quest for truth into a deeply personal vendetta. Kyle, his knowledge of the facility as intimate as his own skin, guided Ilara through a labyrinth of forgotten tunnels. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of ozone and something metallic, a constant hum of unseen machinery vibrating through the earth. They bypassed advanced security systems with Cale's practiced ease, moving like shadows through the subterranean arteries of the complex. Finally, they arrived at a massive, underground laboratory, a cavernous space throbbing with activity. Scientists, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of containment units, worked with materials far more potent and unstable than any Ilara had ever encountered. The very air felt charged with dangerous energy. Through a reinforced observation window, Ilara's breath hitched in her throat. A horrifying spectacle unfolded before her. A small, mutated creature, its form grotesquely contorted, writhed in a containment unit. Its skin pulsed with an unnatural luminescence, exhibiting advanced cellular regeneration, yet its existence was a testament to brutal, unethical experimentation. This was the dark heart of Project Chimera, a tangible manifestation of Cale's warnings and Thorne's depravity. As they watched, a figure entered the laboratory, exuding an unsettling calm. It was Thorne himself, his voice when he spoke to his team, resonating with cold ambition. He spoke of a breakthrough, a new era of energy manipulation, his words chilling Ilara to the bone. She recognized that voice from her father's journal, a voice that had once commanded respect, now a harbinger of untold horrors. Kyle, his hand gripping her arm, whispered urgently, "He's preparing to transport a highly unstable specimen to a remote, undisclosed location for a final, critical test. This is our window to act." The confrontation was inevitable, its seeds sown in betrayal and watered by years of silent suffering. The ticking clock of the imminent transport spurred Ilara and Cale into a desperate, hurried plan. Their goal was clear: intercept the convoy, expose Thorn, and dismantle Project Chimera. This wasn't merely about stopping a delivery. It was about securing irrefutable evidence that would bring down the entire corrupt structure. Ilara contacted Dr. Eris, her mentor's voice laced with apprehension, but his commitment to justice ultimately outweighed his fear. He agreed to help, providing them with a specialized EMP device, a relic from his own days at the site, designed to disable advanced shielding without triggering a catastrophic meltdown. It was their only chance. Under the vast, star-dusted canopy of the Nevada night, the highly armored transport convoy, a steel behemoth, rumbled across the desolate desert landscape. Ilara and Kale pursued it in a modified, rugged off-road vehicle, Kale's intimate knowledge of the terrain proving invaluable as he expertly navigated unseen paths and shadowed dunes, avoiding the ever-present electronic gaze of the facility's surveillance. A tense, high-stakes chase unfolded, the convoy's security drones buzzing ominously overhead, their red lights sweeping the darkness while armed guards in accompanying vehicles remained ever vigilant. Ilara, her fingers flying across a custom-built interface, used her profound scientific expertise to remotely bypass some of the convoy's initial communication and tracking defenses, buying them precious moments. As they approached a predetermined choke point, a narrow canyon known only to a select few, Kale acted decisively. With a practiced motion, he deployed the EMP device. A silent, invisible wave surged through the desert air, momentarily crippling the convoy's electronics. Lights flickered, engines sputtered, and the immense vehicles ground to a halt, plunging the scene into chaos. Seizing the opportunity, Ilara, adrenaline coursing through her veins, breached the transport vehicle. Inside, she discovered the specimen, not a mutated creature as she had initially feared, but a containment unit housing a highly concentrated, incredibly unstable isotope, far more dangerous than she had imagined. Its containment field was failing, a faint, ominous glow emanating from within. Beside it, secured in a reinforced vault, was a data drive. With trembling hands, Ilara extracted it, knowing it held the key to Thorn's undoing. All his research, including irrefutable evidence of his deliberate negligence, his cynical cover-up, and the framing of her father. Thorn, alerted by the sudden EMP blast, arrived on the scene with his elite security team, his face a mask of cold fury. He confronted Ilara, his voice a chilling monotone as he delivered a monologue about scientific progress and the necessary sacrifices required for human advancement. He revealed, without a hint of remorse, that he had known Ilara's father was on the verge of exposing him, and that framing him was a calculated necessary act to protect his life's work. A tense standoff ensued, Thorn's eyes fixed on the data drive and the unstable isotope, desperately trying to reclaim his secrets. In a selfless act of profound redemption, Kale created a diversion. He engaged Thorn's security team, drawing their attention and fire, allowing Ilara a precious window of escape. Kale fell, injured in the ensuing skirmish, but his sacrifice was not in vain. Ilara, clutching the data drive and the isotope, narrowly escaped the crumbling facility, the air now thick with the scent of ozone and the ominous hum of the isotope's destabilization. With Dr. Eris's unwavering support, Ilara leaked the data to a trusted network of investigative journalists and international organizations. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. Thorn was exposed, arrested, and Project Chimera, his monstrous creation, was immediately shut down. The victims, including Ilara's family, were finally vindicated, their silent suffering brought into the light. The unstable isotope, a ticking time bomb, was safely contained and neutralized by a team of international experts. Ilara, finally allowing herself a moment of quiet reflection, looked at the faded photograph in her locket. A profound sense of peace, hard-won and deeply deserved, replaced years of anger and grief. The desert, once a symbol of hidden horrors and personal tragedy, now held a glimmer of justice, a beacon of hope for a future free from such dark secrets.